What Scott Morrison did, with all the secrecy around his actions, just fell short of absolutism, a Napoleon who proclaimed himself emperor. What measures is the government going to take to prevent such an abuse of power?
Murray Watt.
I guess that comes to someone in the government first,
It does
doesn't it?
indeed.
Yeah. Well, I think like all Australians, I was just shocked when I heard about this news. It's something that's never happened in Australian history, and I don't think it's something that we ever thought would happen in our own country.
The question, though, was...
what will we do?
What are you going to do?
Well, we're obviously in the process at the moment of getting advice from the Solicitor General, the highest lawyer in the land, who represents the government, about what kind of measures can be put in place to ensure that this kind of thing can never happen again. It was never intended to. You know, that's why we have the Constitution, that's why we have all sorts of legislation to protect democracy and protect our system of government. And unfortunately, it seems that the former Prime Minister just rode roughshod over that. And I think it really undermines trust in our system, which is already pretty low. And I think it's a really disgraceful way for the former Prime Minister to have conducted himself.
We are going to come to Keith Pitt in just a moment, but I want to go around the table. Amanda, as someone living in Western Sydney, what have people been saying to you? What have you picked up this week in reaction to this?
How long have you got?
We don't have a whole show. Yeah. Well, we've got a show to talk about this, but not the entire
let's
show.
face it, Western Sydney usually ignored until it's election time, and then all of a sudden they're given all these promises, and most often they're not adhered to. This particular issue, what it has done is not just that the ex-Prime Minister has done this, it now questions every single thing every politician does. Now we're thinking, is that person telling the truth? What is that person up to? So, you know, I did a poll for Western Sydney women, 96% of people don't trust politicians. That is staggering. That is huge. And I don't blame them, to be honest, because of situations like this. But now everything's going to be questioned. So when something is promised or someone announces something, it sounds great, or what are you really up to, what's going on? So I think it's more than just fixing that one issue. I think it's something about transparency throughout the whole government. Let's
do our own poll. Hands up who feels, like Amanda says, that there's a loss of trust, or you've been gobsmacked by what you've seen. Hands up. I should have asked for those who weren't. I think it's unanimous. Johann, you know, you've lived through the UK and you've seen Boris Johnson, and we've all watched that from afar. What have you made of this week here?
Well, Scott Morrison seems to me a bit like herpes. Just when you think it's gone away, it comes back worse than ever. But,
I wasn't expecting to go there so quickly.
You know, and as you can tell from my accent, I am an outsider here. I am from Downton Abbey, and I've been
Upstairs or downstairs?
Sadly, definitely downstairs. But I've been thinking about Scott Morrison a lot in relation to three other leaders, right? So you mentioned Boris Johnson, a person who felt the rules didn't apply to him, to the point that he locked down the country and had parties where they sent out invites saying, bring your own booze. I thought about Donald Trump. I live half the time in the US. A man who thought the rules didn't apply to him, to the point that when he stopped being president, he took classified nuclear secrets out of the White House, and in the past week, the FBI had to raid Mar-a-Lago to get them back. But the person I thought most about, actually, was Angela Merkel. So at the height of COVID, Angela Merkel addressed the German people, and she said to them, the last thing you want to do as a German chancellor with our history is suspend anyone's democratic freedoms. So I am going to be 100% transparent with you every step of the way about what I'm doing and how to stop you. There's a line she said that I thought about so much in relation to Morrison. She said, this is what democracy means. We make political decisions transparent and we explain them. Australians deserve more Merkel and less Morrison, in my view.
Well done.